Hi, my name is Steven.
It is I, Kevin.
And I am David, the eldest champion.
And we are the Brothers Born.
We invite you to bear witness as this most unlikely of throwdowns is about to commence.
Welcome to the Unlikely Throwdowns podcast. My name is Steven, as you know from the intro. I have my older brother, Kevin. And today we have a guest, a returning guest, and Brendan. Everyone say hello to Brendan. Hi, Brendan.
Sup?
Hi, Brendan.
So, welcome. Welcome to this Unlikely Throwdown. And we've mixed it up a little bit. So, in the past, our guests have been our judges, and Kevin and I duke it out. And I found that when that happens, because most of our guests like Kevin better than me, they usually choose Kevin. So today we're mixing it up. I'm going to judge between Brendan's prepared a character and my brother Kevin as a character. So this is the first time a guest has brought a character to the show, and I'm excited. I'm here for it. So without further ado, Kevin, why don't you introduce yours first, and then we'll have Brendan introduce his character.
All right. So to start off with me, I'm following a theme. You and David both did something similar to this. So, um, my character isn't actually a person. So,
It's not actually a
um,
person. Do
no,
you mean it's like an animal or something, or like it's
no, you'll get what I mean before, and you'll understand why I say there's like it follows up a previous one.
okay,
Not really
okay.
follows up. Anyways, so to start off with, let's see. Trying to find where do I want to start off with? All right, so my character was created to act as a defender against an alien species who were coming to dominate the Earth and killing lots of people. It comes originally from Kodak Island, which is a testing facility that develops defenses against these invaders, these interdimensional
Kodak
invaders.
Island. I know what Kodak Island. Frick. I know that. What is that from?
Um,
Ugh, keep
wh
going.
while stationed at Anchorage, to help protect the Alaska, like it started Anchorage, Alaska. It conducted its first or they conducted their first combat mission actually in Los Angeles on July 10th, 2017, and defeated an enemy who whose name was Yarmarashi. That was the name of the
What?
enemy.
What?
Um,
Frick. Is this from
by the year,
Pacific Rim?
it's from
That's what I was thinking.
Pacific.
I was just about to think
All
Pacific
right.
Rim.
I've never actually watched
Oh,
that. But
Yes, it
what's
is
the
from Pacific Rim. So obviously, this isn't the actual character; it's the robot that the.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So like kind of like I did the Shenlong Gundam when
Yeah,
Brendan was here last
exactly.
time, actually. So okay,
Exactly.
gotcha. So
That's why I was saying it kind of fits the previous one a little bit because
that's
we had
funny.
Brandon before we had a giant robot character.
Is this like a thing? Every time Brendan's here, we have a giant robot somewhere in there. I
I
kind of
don't
like
I
it.
don't know.
That's
Maybe.
cool. All right, I don't know what's the thing called. Does it have a name?
So I'm talking about specifically about Gypsy Danger.
Well,
Gypsy Danger.
hold on. I never watched Pacific Rim, but
that's a shame.
When you say Gypsy Danger, my mind does not immediately go to giant robots. I don't
Yeah, it's
know.
it's like their code name for the robots.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like some hippie thing or
No.
okay, Gypsy
Look,
Danger.
so the robots are called Jaegers, and they're piloted by two pilots. There's a whole history behind it I'm not getting into, but of course each robot has a name. This one's Gypsy Danger. It's the name. It's the main one from the first movie.
Okay, cool.
Um, it's important. This is a particularly good one because it's one that closes the breach that so these kaiju, so these giant monsters come out of the Pacific Ocean and attack, and it's the one that like successfully closes the breach to the kaiju. So,
Oh, cool. Sweet. All right. Giant robot.
um, yeah, okay.
All right,
This does not bode well for my character. Um, so my character was encased in an iceberg for 100 years. Is
hold on. So we got this robot up in Anchorage, a cold place. This
mhm.
person encased in ice. This is cool. All right, keep going.
And they were discovered, and all of their Their friends and family had been killed, destroyed. They're kind of all alone. They're like the last of their kind. They
Korra?
close.
Okay.
Oh, Aang. It's Aang.
Yeah, it's Aang.
Aang from.
I've never seen any of the that stuff, but
You're missing out, man. It's good.
for some reason, something about I don't know. I don't know. I've heard about it enough to kind of know it's from that franchise.
So
Yes, Aang the Last Avatar.
last,
Interesting.
he's also the last, not the last Avatar. He's the last
Oh,
Airbender.
yeah, Last Airbender. I don't know why I said Avatar. Yep. He is the Avatar,
He
the
is,
last Airbender. He's all the rest of them that were killed.
which is a shame because that's like cool. I'd love to be an Airbender. That'd be sick. But
Dude, I just totally got in there before you could finish your description. Go give some more.
yeah. So give us a little bit more, Brandon.
Yeah, so
Don't go into
it's
abilities or anything, but just a little bit about the character.
yeah, Aang. He's 12 years old. Technically, he's 112, but he was frozen when he was 12 years old. And when he gets unfrozen, he's still 12 years old because he didn't grow. He was told he was the Avatar at a really young age, actually like the youngest one it's ever told, because usually they're not told till they're older. Avatar is like a being that can, or a person that can use all four elements, and they have like these ancestors that they're reincarnated in every time. And there's like there's four elemental tribes throughout the world, and each one reincarnates into a different tribe. So it goes like, I think it goes like earth, water, fire, wind, not wind, air, and then it goes to water, earth, fire, and then so he's the air incarnation. So he was born there, but then the Fire Nation attacked while he left, and he got frozen to an iceberg. So he wasn't there to stop them. They destroyed all the airbenders except for him, and so he's kind of on the journey to stop the Fire Nation from world domination.
Stop Fire Nation, world domination.
Fun fact: Mark Hamill does the voice of the King of the Fire Nation.
Mark Hamill does a lot.
He does.
Mark Hamill does a lot of voices.
Yeah, I didn't
The
realize
guy
that.
who does uh who's the guy Samurai Jack, the bad guy? Aku.
Oh
The
yeah.
guy who does Aku is Iroh.
Oh, cool.
Was until he died, and then someone finished his role.
Bad lip reading did when they did their, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but when they did their one for the Last Jedi, or I don't know, one of the Star Wars movies, Mark Hamill did Han Solo's voice in that.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, interesting.
That one was sent in by a listener, I think.
Yeah, this one I believe sent in by a Sean.
Oh, thank you, Sean. Thank you. So we gave Brendan exclusive access to our email so he could
Yeah, I signed him up for all kinds of newsletters, so they're gonna get a bunch of spam.
So thank you, Sean, for submitting Aang from the Avatar The Last Airbender. And I'm very curious to see how Aang goes up against the giant robot.
Probably not too well.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Skeletor succeeded in it,
so I
shouldn't say that. I want Gypsy Danger to win. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's great. Let's see how this goes. But first, let's take a break.
A wise man once said, "Cash rules everything around me. It's all about the money. Dollar bills, y'all." Now, the Brothers Born are definitely not part of the Wu-Tang Clan. But the sentiment, well, it's still true. When it comes down to it, making the content that we do can have some costs when it comes to equipment and certain fees. This is where you come in as a listener. No obligation here, but if you do like what we have and you would like to contribute a little bit of funds our way so we can improve our content, there's 3 different tiers of payment which you can use. The first one is a simple, cheap tier of 99 cents. Not too bad. Next tier would be $4.99, or if you're straight ballin', $9.99 for the third tier. Now, there's no obligation here. We're going to do the content either way, but we definitely would appreciate a little help. Thank you in advance, and we look forward to providing more content for you.
All right, welcome back. We have Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim versus Aang, the Last Airbender from Avatar. The Last Airbender. There is a live action adaptation of that coming out next month, actually. And
Is this one by Shamalama Ding Dong or no?
no, no, no. This is actually looks pretty cool. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's not why we're here. We're here to
No,
figure
it's
out.
not. Here, let's give some stats real quick.
Yeah.
So Gypsy Danger, of course, is not a person, is a giant. It's a Jaeger used to fight giant kaiju. So I'm gonna give you a couple stats.
Okay.
Number one is Gypsy Danger is 288 feet tall and weighs 7,080 tons.
That's pretty big.
Steve, you gotta watch Pacific Rim, dude.
I know.
It's
on my
really,
list.
really
It's
good.
such a great
It's
movie.
one of
There's
the
this
best
part,
like giant robot things out
it
there.
really is. There's this part because he's so big. There's a part where he picks up like a boat and
That's
like
awesome.
the shipping container boat and like hits like a kaiju with it. It's pretty amusing.
Yeah, it's awesome. The
So
second
anyway,
one was not so good, but the first one is a lot better.
I haven't seen the second one. You know what is good though is Pacific Rim Black. They did like a 2-season anime of it.
Oh, I
That's
haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's really good. That's actually very good. All right. So, the original pilots were named Yancey and Riley Beckett, although Yancey ends up dying. So, Riley, gets a new partner in Mako or Mako, whatever her name
Is
is.
that part of the drama of the show? I bet. Like the two of them
Yeah,
have
it
been along
is.
at
Yeah.
first. Okay,
Yeah,
I
it
can
is.
see it. I could predict that.
Um, in appearance, kind of has like a blue faded paint job. As a detachable head cockpit, all the Jaegers do. Let's see. Some other equipment. Well, yeah. I'll leave it off for. I'll go into some equipment and weapons in a little bit.
So detachable head cockpit.
Yes.
All right.
288 feet tall.
How does it get detached? I'm assuming it's like some like hangar they go into or something, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Brennan, give us a little bit about Aang.
Aang is, like I said, he's 112 technically, like 12. He looks like a 12-year-old. He's bald, has a arrow pointed on his hand, which denotes his. It's a tattoo of the Airbenders. It's like a blue arrow, and it denotes his mastery over airbending. He's probably like 5 foot tall, so he's like a
He's a little
12-year-old
guy.
height.
Yeah.
He's a little guy. He His main weapon is bending, which is like using elements. Mostly airbending is his best one, and he uses a staff sometimes. But I mean that's his meat and potatoes.
But he can, like you said, he is the Avatar. So although airbending
He can
is
use he he also goes he's since he's the Avatar, he can use all elements, but he's the most proficient at airbending, and then probably second's probably like earthbending. But he can go into this avatar state, which is like where he connects with all of his past lives. So he gets kind of like all of the combined experience of like thousands of years of benders, of avatars all inside of him. So he becomes like an insane powerhouse of all of the elements, where he's like a master beyond belief of all 4 elements.
huh.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and his eyes turn blue when that happens.
Yeah, it usually happens when he gets
Blue
mad
eyes.
or
Don't mess with
some
no blue
crazy
eyes.
event. When he with his airbending, he's able to create tornadoes. He makes this ball of air and he can ride on it and move it. He can fly
so
because he
sweet.
has this glider and he can control the air underneath the glider to give him lift and fly around. And just mostly his fighting style when he's using airbending is more evasive because he's very agile and able to use the wind to dodge and move around and fly up. So it would give him maneuverability against a giant robot, because giant robots are going to be a little slower than a small child moving around. So he's able to evade and use his airbending abilities to kind of move up and avoid potential attacks.
So I will say
that's true. He can move around the robot
Yeah.
pretty easily.
I will say Jaegers aren't exactly the fastest thing in the world, but I mean 288 feet tall. I suppose they don't have to be. Just because one step would be a significant distance. So let me tell you guys, give me some equipment that my Jaeger has here real quick. Partially to help with that is he has a 98 speed D hyper torque drive, whatever that means. So anyways, this is used to increase the speed of locomotion. He has these special cooling vents that can channel seawater through the system to improve cooling. He also has rockets to increase forward and vertical momentum. So it'd be like super jumping.
Okay.
Um, he's got these turbines that are used to fire direct. He can fire a direct heat blast at a close range. It's strong enough to burn through like kaiju hide because kaiju are have really thick skin.
Yeah.
He's also powered by a nuclear reactor and resistance EMT attacks. However,
Hmm.
it can detonate the nuclear reactor as a last resort weapon. Um, and then some weapons, not a lot. I-19 plasma caster. He has two of them. It's a particle dispersal cannon. It's fired from each of his hands, and then it's really powerful enough to like not only shoot through and like melt through the kaiju, but it also cauterizes the anatomy a little bit. Kind of like you got killed by a lightsaber, I guess. Except
Okay.
it's not a lightsaber; it's a plasma cannon.
Huh.
But speaking of saber, he does have the GD6 chain sword. There's two of these. It's made of a steel obsidian alloy, and he has one on each arm. It can be used both as a sword or a whip, kind of like Ivy from Soul Calibur, except giant.
They're cool.
Um, he can also dump his own coolant as an improvised weapon, though I don't know how useful that would be. And each elbow and the arm joints has a rocket in it, so he can punch harder.
Okay.
Those are weapons and equipment that I have going with
Can
this
he use
giant,
it like can he
humongous
shoot
robot.
people like he pull his elbows up like so and like with the rockets and shoot people that way?
I mean, it'd probably make it hot, but it usually just uses it to just.
Yeah, yeah. It
Improve the
just helps.
speed.
It
Okay.
helps accelerate his hands, well, its arms while it's punching giant monsters.
Okay, it makes sense. All right. There's a lot going on there.
Yes, there is.
Aang is little, but I mean Aang might be all right. Look out every nation in Avatar though. Fire Nation, Air Nation, whatever. They're all this
I
thing
mean,
wreck them all.
Aang does have like his other bending, especially I think like earth bending would be very good against because like he
Yes.
could move the earth underneath because like the airbending prowess is like he can make huge walls. He can create basically manipulate the earth anywhere it is. There's probably multiple ways where he could move the earth underneath the Jaeger's feet and make it fall over.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Using
point.
it as
That's a good point.
defensive. I mean,
Dude,
depending.
you know what suck about that though? Even if the Jaeger, hopefully there's nobody around, because if the Jaeger falls down at 288 feet, like anybody that's in that vicinity is gone.
They're gone. Yeah, for sure.
Aang takes out in like Tire City just by knocking a dude over.
Whoops.
That's true. You could. I didn't think about disturbing the earth. That would be tricky for the Jaeger to navigate that.
Also, I don't know how exactly this would work, but he also has water bending where he can take water and manipulate it. Could he maybe he could manipulate the water inside of like the coolant inside the
Oh,
Jaeger, maybe cause it to overheat or cause it to cause mechanical issues inside of it.
and he wouldn't have to feel guilty about blood bending because it's a robot.
Yeah, blood bending you can Aang is never known to do that,
Yeah.
and you can only do it during a full moon, and it's mostly people. But
I
water
want.
bending,
I wanted to ask
coolant
you
is
this.
water based, so I would assume he'd be able to bend that.
Now, remind me, was Aang ever able to metal bend, or is that specifically
No,
okay? He's just earth bending. Okay, cool. All right.
Toph could metal bend, but he's never been known to do it. So
Okay, cool.
that would
That's
be very nice if he could, but
okay. Sweet. So we can take that out of the equation. All right. All right. That's pretty cool. Kevin, what you got for that, dude?
I will say earthbending does make things a little bit difficult for the Jaeger for sure, for old Gypsy Danger here. But I think it's pretty heavy. I mean, you have to. I don't know. I've never watched an Avatar, so I don't know. But like when he bends Earth, it's just like a little like nubby bits that he can bend, or he can bend like an entire like. Could he
I
make
mean,
like a whole mountain?
if he's in the
Because
Avatar state, he could move mountains.
Yeah.
This one
okay,
Avatar that was one of his previous incarnations, so if he's in the Avatar state, could kind of do this. Literally separated two continents from each other.
And
that's pretty nuts.
even when he's not in Avatar state, he could still like disturb the earth
Yeah, he
pretty.
could still do a pretty hefty amount of earth, like at least like moving it to where making it weak to where maybe the Jaeger would stumble.
I feel like
Hmm.
the world of Pacific Rim could use some benders or avatars and close up that fault so these monsters don't come out anymore.
That's true.
Um,
They could.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Like it's hard. Anytime we do one of these with a giant robot, it is kind of hard because at first you're like, like I don't want to make the argument it's like, oh, you could just step on Aang because we've always negated that before. So,
Yeah,
but I mean, if you did step on Aang, that would be
it would be the
Yeah.
end of
done.
Aang for
That'd be
sure.
done right there. I do think that his plasma blasting arms would be a bit because I don't think Aang can bend plasma.
He can bend fire, but I don't think plasma would work
No,
because he's only been able to like some firebenders can bend like make lightning, which what I would say was plasma, but Aang can't do that. He can redirect it, but I don't think he would do that. I don't think he could redirect the whole plasma beam
no, yeah, I
back
don't think
at
so
it.
either.
I think he would get
So,
obliterated if he tried to do that.
s- so I feel like if he can use if Gypsy Danger can use both its plasma blasters, um, especially like at the same time against like Aang, zoom in on him. Aang's done, man. He's getting plasmaed
Uh,
up. Like
hmm,
like you can't survive that. You can't.
hmm,
So I mean, it would be hard to hit him in the first place just because of the fact he's
yeah,
so mobile and agile. As far as his firebending goes, I don't think it's really going to help against the
no.
even with him, but like empowered. I don't think he'd be able to do much because that thing is goes into a volcano, I believe, or
Well, and
well, it's just like it's also just like metal, and if he like the burst he could do is maybe try to superheat the head and maybe make the people inside boil, but I don't even think he'd be able to get it hot enough.
yeah,
So he's kind of stuck with the three other elements. He is the worst at fire, so that's
yeah,
probably
he
the
sucks at firebending.
benefit. Um, but when when he's in the avatar state, it doesn't really matter because he's a master of all of them, and he'd be able to literally move mountains and seas and probably just like depending on like how much liquid and coolant is inside the thing, he could probably push that thing around or just mess up the mechanics on the inside depending on what liquids would be inside of it. That would probably be the best way he could manipulate the giant robot.
Now, remind me, it's been a while since I've watched it. How does he get into the avatar state? And like, does it happen a lot? Can he go in and out of it at will? I know in the beginning he can't, but by the end of the show, was he able to master that? I can't
At the end of
remember.
the show, he was able to master it. At first, he could only do it when he got mad or something
Yeah.
like happened, but at the end he opens these like chakras with previous avatars, and he eventually is able to unleash the full potential, and I believe just be able to go in and out of it at will.
So here's a question, totally unrelated, but made me think of it. What if when we got mad, every memory of our ancestors just came flooding into our minds?
You'd
Dude,
probably go insane.
dude, I don't know if I'd want some. I mean, I don't know many of our ancestors. Um, I don't think we have anything too shady back in from any of our ancestors. I don't even
No,
know.
but just like, what do you think that'd be like? Probably like some
Your
Irish,
brain would be overwhelmed. I don't think you could handle it with having all that in your
or not
head.
avatars. Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking, like, I don't know. I get so frustrated, then I just suddenly remember Grandma getting mad at something. I don't know. It's made me think of that. Sorry, I digress. All right, so there's some cool stuff going on over there in Team Avatar. He's got a
I,
lot of heat
I
on
will
you,
say, I do
Gypsy
think even
Parade.
though it's, oh, sorry, go ahead.
He's got a lot of heat on you there, Gypsy Danger.
I will say, I think the plasma caster is going to be a bit of an issue. As cool as having rockets on the back of your elbows as a giant robot is, I don't think it would be efficient in attacking a person.
Probably
Like,
not.
Yeah.
like you couldn't. I don't think you could efficiently do that. I mean, that's very specifically something you would have to use against a equally sized or similarly sized opponent. So I can say that's off the table. I don't know about this chainsword though. On
Oh
one
yeah, the
hand,
chainsword. We forgot about the chainsword. Go. Yeah, tell me more about
I
that.
mean it's a huge sword, but it can also be like a whip. That could be something that could contend with a human-sized target if in whip form. Because like
What a
it's
weird
be
sentence.
it'd be more it'd be unpredictable. Like in sword form, maybe you could, I mean, it's pretty big, but maybe as a human, maybe you could have dodged it in sword form. But as a whip, like it's unpredictable. You wouldn't really know where it was coming from. And if you can cut
Unpredictable
through,
whip.
if you can cut through you know, like these giant monsters with like a super thick hide, pretty sure it can make quick work of a person.
Oh yeah.
I think Aang gets hit once, he's done
Yeah.
by anything. That's the thing is Aang is regardless of what the giant robot uses, anything that happens is he's done. But I think the fact that he is a small target, which is notably difficult for giant robots to hit, and the fact that he can airbend and move
Yeah.
freely at will, fly kind of, and he just has like enhanced agility due to being able to manipulate the wind, and he can use the other elements to kind of work as well. He could make water tornadoes. He could use the earth to give him leverage and all things like that. He can even
You
use
know,
fire to fly. You could just use it like jets and fly around like that as well.
he's definitely too small to hit with the fist as powerful as Gypsy Danger's fist is.
I picture him flicking him.
That'd be like me trying to punch a mouse. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
like, oh, come here. I don't know how that would work. I mean, if you hit the mouse, that mouse is
You'd be
done.
done.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I got enough
well,
information.
actually, I do have one more thing now.
Okay. Yes.
See,
Please.
the thing that really makes this kind of win in my favor, though in this case, nobody really wins, and that is the fact that it can detonate its own nuclear reactor.
Oh.
So it'd be like having a nuclear bomb like go off. Now, granted, this would kill the pilots and destroy Gypsy Danger as well, but and I don't think he would use it on a person,
Huh, okay.
but at the same time, if it did detonate itself, um, like nobody can survive a nuclear explosion.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing on that. If he detonates the nuke, Aang's toast. Doesn't matter. I don't think he could get away fast enough, and I don't think he could recognize what a nuke was, since like Avatar's kind of more in like a industrial age because they got like coal and ships and stuff, but not much further than that.
Yeah.
So
No
like a
modern
nuke,
technology.
he would probably be like, because he's also like 12, so he'd probably be like, if like it stopped moving and started beeping, he'd probably be a little bit like, because he's a little cocky sometimes, he'd be like, yeah, I won, blah blah blah, and then he'd blow up and be gone.
Now, if we go forward, if we like the forward Korra, by the time Legend of Korra happens, there is a lot more modern technology.
Yeah, there is.
They have like cars.
It's more like
cities
like
and
the
junk.
it's like the 20s, but I'd
Yeah.
still think nukes.
Yeah, nukes.
But when the nuke goes off, nobody wins.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that they would necessarily use Gypsy Danger as a nuke
I just found.
on a person. Like, that'd
Yeah.
be pretty excessive. I'm just saying if it were to be used, yeah, you're right. Nobody
That's
wins.
like a draw.
Well, I found the tag I'm going to use at the end of the episode. It's Brendan saying, "When a nuke goes off, nobody wins." That is definitely my post credits tag this time. Um. All right. Well, man, this is tough. I enjoyed having Brendan as a guest give a character. And this is the second time we've had an Avatar character. So, and I'm a big Avatar fan. I like it a
Oh,
lot.
have you had an Avatar character before?
I did Katara back in
Oh.
season 1. But thank you, Sean, for submitting Aang. I think this is a good matchup. Do either of you have any quotes or
This is the third time we've had a giant robot because we
This
had
is the third time.
Shenlong, we had Devastator, and now we have. So me, you, and Dave have all done a giant robot now.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Gotcha.
Quotes.
Before I make any decisions, do either of you have a quote game you want to throw at me?
I don't have a lot, but I think I've a couple. I mean, because he's a giant robot, it doesn't. But the pilots may have quotes.
Yes, I can take a pilot quote. That's fine.
So Riley Beckett, he's like the main character in the movie. Here's a quote from him: "There are things you can't fight, acts of God. You see a hurricane coming, you have to get out of the way. But when you're in a Jaeger, suddenly you can fight the hurricane and you can win."
Oh man, that's pretty dope right there. All right, what you got there, Brendan, for Aang?
Here's a insightful one, and it's Aang says, "It's easy to do nothing. It's hard to forgive."
So he's like the bigger man a little bit.
Yeah, because it's about about revenge. An episode about revenge, and Aang's trying to talk sense into Katara, I believe.
And that brings up a good point. We didn't consider this. Aang's got a little bit of like the Batman thing going on where he doesn't like killing people. He like, won't
No, he
kill
does
people.
not. He will. That's true. He won't kill people.
Yeah, he won't.
He intentionally. does not kill the Fire Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
Like that was his goal.
That was a big decision for him. It was really hard for him to decide to make him live, but he found a way to make it work. He just took away his powers or something weird like that.
Yes. That's one thing. That's another thing he can do, but it's not really applicable to a giant robot. He can do its energy bending. He can bend the energy of living beings. Like he can transfer knowledge, remove bending. I mean, I would say in terms of like regular people, it'd be like knowledge transversal, but it's not really applicable to a giant robot. So I didn't mention it.
He just touches the robot, and suddenly the robot doesn't have rocket elbows anymore.
Yeah.
I will say I don't think the pilots of any of the pilots of Gypsy Danger would intentionally kill people. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like their whole shtick. They're trying to save like the world from giant monsters. So I don't think they would intentionally kill people, but maybe more willing. I don't know.
I bet they've accidentally killed people a number of times, though.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, they
obviously.
definitely did.
Of course they have. These robots are huge. You got to see this movie, man. These robots
It's great.
They're so giant.
It's really good. You got to see it for sure.
All right. Well, I'm working on my decision. My gut instinct here is to pull a Kevin and do a draw, but I made a commitment to myself that I will never do a draw on this show. So,
Oh, come on, man. Do it. I don't want to be the only one.
no, you're the only one.
Man, I can't do it anymore, though. I've done it twice.
So,
It's not my fault you and David both have compelling arguments.
well, you and Brendan both have very compelling arguments. So, here's my thing. A couple things. If obviously Aang gets stepped on, he's done. Dunzo. Dunzo Kabunzo. There's nothing he could do. He'd be finished. However, I think it would be incredibly difficult for Gypsy Danger to like get a hold of Aang because he's very quick, he's very agile, he can fly, he can bend the earth, he can disturb the earth to make the robot, fall down or whatever. And that's where I was like, okay, I was leaning more towards Aang at that point. And then Kevin's like, nuclear bomb inside of me. So I was like, well, that trumps everything. It's like when we had Dr. Manhattan, you just can't beat that.
See, that's why you could do the draw, because as Brendan stated, if that thing goes off, nobody's winning.
That's true. That's true. But I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna go Aang on this one. Aang, the Last Airbender. I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, you know what? I kind of expected this because we're on the same problem we had last time we used giant robots. Although
Yeah, I think giant robots versus regular people is like,
yeah. Although Devastator did win, but that's because he could turn into smaller robots.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And because, the Jaegers, as cool and dope as they are not exactly the most like agile things to exist.
Yeah.
They're not, and I agree with that. And in terms of nuclear bomb, I don't think that they would set that off because I mean, they do in the movie, but not to kill one person. Like,
yeah, it's like to save the world.
It's the Avatar, though. It is not just one person. Like, but yeah, it is one person, but he is the Avatar. Man, imagine if the Fire Nation got a hold of a Jaeger, Brendan. Whew.
Also, if the Jaeger did win, the Avatar would die. He'd be reborn, and then in like 15 years, they could fight again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's eternal. The Avatar is, and it ends up being Korra next. But yeah, I'm gonna go Aang. This is good. Thank you, Brendan, for joining us, and congratulations for winning your first throwdown. When we do the stats at the end of the year, this will be interesting. Brendan's in for a win. So
that's more than you, Steve.
Hey. I think I won recently, right? Didn't I win last time? I think I did.
I don't know. It's hard to keep track anymore.
But yes, thank you for joining us. Brendan, have you ever been on our website?
Yeah, I went to it when you showed me to one time. It's been a bit though.
What was our website?
What do you mean
what's the URL?
www.brothersbornpodcast.com.
Try again.
Brothersbornpodcast.net.
Oh,
.net. No, it's a .gov.
It's a .gov. It's a .edu for educating people right
is
now.
it edu?
That makes sense. We are an educational show for sure.
I was like, that's weird, but okay.
No, it's brothersbornmedia.com. So, but I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, Brendan. But it shows your friendship. Obviously, you
Just cut that out and put
don't care
this.
about our website.
We'll just cut all that part out and then we're here. And then, it's www.brothersbornmedia.com.
I thought you were going to
Visit
say it wrong
today.
again for a second.
I almost did. Again, what do you mean? That was the first time.
I mean, we should be a .edu though. We are educational.
Yeah.
We're teaching people
Yeah.
about whatever it is we're teaching them about. And I don't really have a valid argument for that.
I think. All right. So yeah, that's brothersbornmedia.com. You can check out this podcast, The Unlikely Throwdowns, as well as our other podcast, Brothers Born Podcast, which is where we started. That's where it all began. That's over there too. Some blog posts and a couple other things. It's pretty cool. I like it. But anyway, that's our stuff. Check it out and tell your friends. If you could give us any gift, it would be to tell your friends to listen to the show. I'd be so tremendous.
Unless you can get me a real life Jaeger, then by all means, please do that.
Yes.
I definitely want one.
That would be amazing. Yeah. And to do yourself a treat, if you have not seen Avatar or Pacific Rim, both of these are fantastic forms of media.
Yes,
the question is, Brendan. If I had a Jaeger, who would my other pilot be? Who do you think I'm drift compatible with?
That's interesting.
Probably not me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think we do well together.
Probably your daughter.
Oh yeah, actually, you're probably right. Yeah.
And I've been told I look like an airbender because I'm bald. So,
You just put an arrow on your forehead and you're good to go.
Actually, I thought about cosplaying as Tenzin. I think I could pull off Tenzin pretty well, actually, if I cosplayed. What do you think, Brennan? If I grew my beard out a little more?
Yeah, you probably could.
I think I could rock that, and that'd be sweet. Stephanie could be.
You got more of like water bending personality.
I know. I just want my personality for sure. Wait, what are you trying to say?
I'm just saying you're a little more loosey goosey than. Oh, I mean, airbenders are more like carefree, childlike wonder. I guess that's kind of you too, as well. But
you're an earthbender, 100% in my book. You do earth. But anyway, this was a great time. I had a good time, guys. And stay tuned. The next Unlucky Throwdown will be David will be back, and we got some good ones cooking there. And yeah, that's all I got. Kevin, Brendan, you got anything else to say?
Nope, not really. Thanks for having me, and it's good to get a win.
Yeah, I got nothing else, so peace on out.
All right, see you later, folks.
But when the nuke goes off, nobody wins.